Here is trusted too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other, business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MediShare 65 Plus just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call too. Call now, 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE 55. 833-SHARE-55.
It's Truck Month at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with 2.9% APR for 72 months. And if GMC's more your style, you're in luck. Drive home a 25 GMC Sierra Elevation with up to $7,000 in customer cash, or lock in 0.9% APR on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500. Whether it's power, performance, or pure style, Hurl Chevrolet GMC has the truck to match your drive. Visit hurlchev.com or stop by today in Goodland and make this Truck Month one to remember.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Will be in the mid-60s, southeast winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and lows around 40. Tomorrow will be dreary day with clouds, some fog, rain showers, and isolated storms are all possible. Highs in the 50s with lighter northeasterly winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and lows in the lower 40s. Saturday morning we'll have fog and some lingering showers with some sunshine later in the afternoon. Highs around 60, light northeasterly winds turning to the southeast at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and lows staying around 40. Sunday will be partly cloudy with highs in the low to mid-60s, lows in the upper 30s. Ahead of our next storm system coming over the northern Rock. Monday will be cloudy with gusty south winds 25 to 45 miles per hour. Highs in the mid-60s with chances for showers and storms overnight. This is meteorologist Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family-owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures, making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
It's Truck Month at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with 2.9% APR for 72 months. And if GMC's more your style, you're in luck. Drive home a 25 GMC Sierra Elevation with up to $7,000 in customer cash, or lock in 0.9% APR on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500. Whether it's power, performance, or pure style, Hurl Chevrolet GMC has the truck to match your drive. Visit hurlchev.com or stop by today in Goodland and make this Truck Month one to remember.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh,
He's the new guy.
the High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodlands Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
to the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the insurance agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Brunson finds Bridges. Ananobi, three-pointer corner. Bang! Lead back to 8 with 1:20 to go.
Fingers move up, pro ball. Here comes LaMelo. Brandon! First alley-oop of the year. Pocket holding. Fires back end zone. Leaping catch. And brought in for a touchdown. Jared Askren, the tight end, with the score from 9. And the Bears convert on 3rd down for a TD.
Lively denied emphatically by Wembanyama.
It's like playing against your dad in the driveway when you're 8 years old. What do?
Wemby 3. You bet! Plus the foul.
Did you get enough NBA last night, Connor? You should be able to fill your gullet with that NBA action and nothing else on. You should be happy this morning.
Oh, I watched plenty. I mean, I was in that whole Cavs game. Then I was kind of just surfing around between the Spurs game and then whatever else was on. But real quick, before we get started, there's some breaking NBA news.
Hold on here. Hold on.
Sure you saw it. You saw this, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Really? Well,
news?
So this is pretty crazy. Trailblazers head coach and former Pistons guard and NBA Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups and the Miami Heat point guard Terry Rozier just got arrested in a federal gambling-related investigation.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, it's FBI's involved, and it's all alleged, but they got arrested. So don't really know. No one knows exactly what's going on, but Terry, he was tied to some gambling stuff like last year, and I remember he was like everything was cleared, like they're like, okay, he's good, but here it just comes crawling right back. It's crazy. So
See, the problems with gambling are coming up in the pro game, and guess what happened just yesterday? The NCAA officially approved gambling for student athletes and for NCAA and athletic employees at universities to bet on professional games. It's a slippery slope we slide on.
That's exactly what we said.
Tell you what, it's only the beginning, folks. You open these doors to problems, and there will be problems rushing through the door. Guarantee it. So. Good Thursday morning, everybody. It's October the 23rd, 37. Didn't get as cold as I think they thought it was going to be. I think they said there was a good frost advisory, but did not get quite as cold as I think people thought it might. Going to be 64 today, tomorrow, then possibly chance of some late rain showers tonight, I've read. And also looking ahead to tomorrow, that's the day of cooler temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, and some good precipitation chances coming up here on Friday before a warm-up on Saturday. But I hope you're having a good start to your Thursday. Thanks again for tuning in, no matter which way you are doing so. And of course, the FB Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222, or the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So yeah, we got plenty of ways to get a hold of us on the program, where today we're going to be talking to the other side of the Sunflower Showdown, we're going to have a first-time guest. John Grove's going to join us from GoPowerCat.com. We'll be talking to him on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream from the K-State perspective on the Sunflower Showdown and see if Kansas State can make it 17 consecutive wins over Kansas. We will also be talking to him about Big 12 basketball media days. John was there watching and taking in what Jerome Tang and certain players had to say about the upcoming season, so we'll get some thoughts on that as well. We mentioned it. We'll touch a little bit more on the NCAA changes to gambling. And I want to dive into, I think, some very interesting stories in the world of college baseball and professional baseball. We'll get to that in the back end of the show as well. Some very interesting stories surrounding baseball managers coming up here in the later in the program. How was last night? So you're watching lots of NBA coverage. Anything else exciting happened last night over there in Colby?
I actually golfed for the first time this season.
Got the sticks out. How was that?
Oh, I played awful. It was great though. I mean, that's a nice course over at Meadow Lake. I mean, it's nice, spread out,
open,
and it wasn't super busy, so didn't feel rushed at all. I mean, I just went by myself, so just got out there and got a feel for the course, and the driver was working really well. It was the first time I've swung since I think April, but the driver, I mean, I was hitting it about roughly not crazy, 220 to 250 most drives, and they were staying fairly straight. And then I would hit a decent iron shot, and then I'd finally get to the approach. And last time I played, I lost my sand wedge. So I'm trying to, and I don't have any other lob wedges.
You know, it'd be hilarious if I lost my sandwich and I found it, even though you never played that course. Think how dumb that sounds.
It's funny. It's just floating around in Colby, but I had to chip with my pitching wedge, and that did not go over well.
You just got to open up that club face a little bit more and make it more of a flop shot. Is what you
I tried my best, but that is not in my arsenal.
How long have you been golfing in your lifetime? Is it something you did as a kid, or is it something you've picked up more recently?
Picked up consistently is a strong word, but played more often more recently. In the past 3-4 years, I've played not consistently. My freshman year at college, I played a lot, and then it tailed off through the rest of the years, and I played maybe 2 or 3 times within the past calendar year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You'll have some more time. You got a few more nice days here before it gets too cold, and then you're going to be out there. So
I'll play till it's 30.
30 degrees? Oh, man. Good for you. Jeez. Good for you.
I'm from a cold place. I'm used to it.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. Yeah. I love to play golf, but 3 kids kind of takes that adventure out of it a little bit of time.
Not much time
to go play the golf, but I do enjoy it when I do get out to the links every now and then. All right. We got lots to get to in the program. Let's get going here in segment number 1 with it's Thursday. That means it's NFL talk, our NFL Power 5. All right. So week number 8 in the NFL. I don't think personally it's a very good one. In fact, I think it's poor enough to say Ross did not have an honorable mention game. Yeah, I didn't have one.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time to find an honorable mention game. But would you like to talk about the Browns in the honorable mention game here?
The slate was bad enough that I put them in my top 5.
Nice. So, all right, let's just get rolling then, I guess. So, the NFL Power 5, week 8.
The Power 5, number 5.
So, what do you got? What's leading us off today?
So, it is Browns-Pats. So, this is a historic matchup that has never really favored the team in orange, but
how is it historic?
They've played each other a lot.
That's what that Oh, my God. Wow. Historic matchup. They played a lot.
Hey, I'm trying to let me sell this.
We'll take your word for you. Go ahead. Your sell job is sad, but let's go.
All right. Well, the Browns may be coming off a week against one of the sadder teams in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins, but
that's true.
They took care of them. I mean, 31-6 against any team is no joke. People are giving the Chiefs all types of praise for beating the Raiders 31-0. Let the Browns have this one too. And if they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and I don't think that's a secret anymore, and they're playing a surging Pats team that this might be the best they've looked post Brady. with Drake May, who has been awesome for them. And they're one of the better teams in the NFL on both sides of the football. But I feel like if the Browns can win the line of scrimmage and just keep this game at a manageable distance, it'll be winnable for them because they've been in most games they've played this year. A couple of them got away from them, like the Ravens game in the second half of that one. And then even the Steelers game, lost by a couple of scores, didn't really go in their favor, but it happens. The Browns defense, I think, always gives them a chance to win, and they can make this an Iowa Hawkeyes type game. And if it's like that, they can win.
The Patriots are one of the more improved teams in all of professional football. Let's face the facts.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are sitting atop of the AFC East at this point in time. Mike Vrabel is squarely in position to win Coach of the Year in the NFL with the turnaround job that he's done. It's amazing to me that Tennessee said he wasn't good enough. That's unbelievable to me. But this will be a challenging game for the Browns. A very challenging game. Drake May,
yeah.
I admit, Drake May has played a lot better than I thought he would be. I thought he was a bust, but they have really found the formula to help him look good, and he's played very, very well. What are your thoughts on Quinshawn Judkins, real quickly? Your running back.
He is pretty good. I mean, this guy's probably he's one of, if not the best offensive rookie in the NFL this year. I mean, he's just been running like a freight train. I mean, his stats last week, I'll admit, were a little inflated by the 75-yard touchdown run he had, but he's been pretty consistent week to week, and he had a little stretch in there where he had a few straight 100-yard games, and he's just been a consistently good runner. He's almost at 500 yards through 6 starts because he missed his first game, but he's looked really good. And this is coming from a guy who thought we should have taken Travion Henderson, and clearly that's why I'm not the GM.
Clearly. It's not the only reason, but clearly we know. Let's move on. My number 5, I'm going with an odd game here at number 5. Like I said, I don't think the slate is very good this week. Buffalo at Carolina. Two teams going in different directions currently, but not in the way you think. Buffalo is the team that is slumping. They have lost 2 in a row, have the Bills. They're coming off a 10-point loss to the Falcons and a 3-point loss to the Patriots, which, by the way, has put them now not in first of the AFC East, as I just mentioned a little bit ago. And then you have the surging Carolina Panthers, as Boomer would say. They coming off wins over the Dolphins. The Cowboys, that was a nice one. And recently the Jets. Now, I know 2 of those 3 teams they beat suck. But, hey, they won it. The Panthers are moving out of the doghouse and the cellar into, low-income housing. That's what they're doing. They're getting up there. So they're moving up. I'm not expecting this. I don't know. I would think the Bills win this game, but the Panthers are playing with some momentum, and the Bills seem to be missing something at this point in time. They really seem to be lacking something, and I love teams that run the football. I'm an old school guy. Run the ball. Me and Woody Hayes would get along really well, I feel like. We love to run the football. And this game features the number 1 Bills rushing offense and the number 3 Carolina rushing offense. So, yes, I like this game. Run the ball and run the clock. Give me Bills and Panthers at number 5 in my Power 5. So, all right, moving on to number 4.
Number 4.
I've got the Bears and the Ravens. So part of my reasoning for this is there's a chance Lamar comes back this week, and I think that's going to make this game a whole lot more interesting than if we see Cooper Rush again.
Oh, gosh.
It's been...
Are there not better backup options for this Ravens team than Cooper Rush? I mean,
I think they brought Tyler Huntley back. I think he might start, actually.
Why not?
I think might make more
Great
sense.
for Adrian Martinez. He could do a better job than Cooper Rush.
He was scared to get in the game the other day. I don't know if that's going to work out. But it's funny because Rush was good on the Cowboys. But I digress. This game. So
the system fit doesn't seem like it's a good fit for me. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like it's a good fit. You need more of a mobile quarterback.
Correct. And Rush is not that. But the Ravens have had just an abysmal start to the season. This is their worst. This is the worst they've looked since 2015, 10 years ago. And they're 1-5 right now. And obviously part of that is because they've lost Lamar, and that just totally saps their offensive firepower. And on top of that, Derrick Henry's having a bit of a down year. But now they've got the Bears, and this is almost like it's pretty similar to the Buffalo and Carolina dynamic you were talking about. The Ravens are Buffalo in this case, trending down, and the Bears are the Panthers, trending up. And the Bears, they already had their bye week, but other than that, they've been looking much better. They're 4-2. They've won their last 4 games. Yeah, they've ripped off 4 straight wins. Wins against the Commanders and the Cowboys. I mean, they got the Raiders and the Saints, which aren't as impressive, but Cowboys and Raiders, or the Commanders, pretty good wins. They held the Cowboys to only 14 points. Probably one of the best offenses in the NFL, and now they're sitting pretty.
Are we wrong to say that Chicago is probably one of the more talented teams that's always been underperforming? I mean, they have been the last couple of years.
Maybe on defense.
The potential is there. The potential is there's young playmakers on offense, along with Swift, the running back. But then you have, that defense, like you said. I just always feel like the Bears have more talent than what their record shows. And we're actually seeing it here this year with their new head coach and Coach Johnson.
I guess, yeah. And they've been better on offense. They're 10th in points per game with 25, and they're 25th in points allowed per game. They've allowed about 26. So the offense has been the big factor in their run game, especially. Pretty good with DeAndre Swift, and finally Kyle Monungai, Rutgers legend.
Yes, Monungai.
Yeah,
he has been good.
That's all I got.
All right. Yeah, I know. I like that game too, particularly if Lamar plays. I don't. That's why it didn't make my top 5, because I don't know if he's going to play, and so it hinges on Lamar. By the way, did you happen to see that the Ravens, they're 1-5, and that means no more fun in the locker room? They've taken out the ping pong table, the pinball machine, all the fun stuff is apparently out on the street.
John Harbaugh's done.
Yeah, we're done with this. No more fun. It's time to win. My number 4 game on the NFL Power 5 here in week number 8. A game we saw just 2 weeks ago, which I find ridiculous, but that's how it works sometimes, particularly in the division. The Giants at the Eagles. Remember 2 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football, the Giants, Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo, had a whole bunch of fun. They were ripping shirts off and stuff in the post-game show with the Thursday Night Football crew, and they beat Philadelphia. That young core, I should say, for the Giants. But, the Giants recently had a meltdown at Denver. Philadelphia surged in Minnesota last week. I don't know. The Giants, I'm still interested. Can they beat Philadelphia? I don't think this is going to happen again. I think Philly is going to be on a mission to not lose to the Giants. Still, though, I'm intrigued to see how that game plays out. Number 4, New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles. All right, on to 3.
Number 3.
The Commanders, the Chiefs is the Monday Night Football game this week. And I think listen to the line on this one. This is ridiculous. I think this is just horrible. KC is favored by 12.5.
Okay, now did you happen to see the news late last night that Jalen Daniels is out?
Well, that
would explain it.
I was about to say, I mean, I was wondering, I'm like, why is the line so low? But
this game, if you looked at it in week 1, you've been like, I can't wait till Monday Night Football, Chiefs and Commanders, because this could be, if we wanted to say, it could possibly be a Super Bowl preview type game.
Yeah.
But the injury bug has just absolutely ravaged the Commanders.
It has.
Austin Eckler out for the year. Now quarterback Jalen Daniels, who's already missed some time, out again. So Marcus Mariota gets the start now for the Commanders. Where then you have the Chiefs, who are coming off their best performance, in 365 days? I mean, plus, particularly offensively. It's not a good comp, but I think that's why you're seeing that 12-point line.
I am less skeptical, even with Mariota at the helm, because he's still a guy who's going to be able to run your offense well, and he plays similarly enough to Jaden Daniels to where I think they can still stand on their own 2 feet with him. I mean, they got a win earlier this year with Mariota. So I don't know. I think it's still going to be closer than that line, which I still think is a little egregious. And part of this does hinge on the question of whether Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are back this week, probably the 2 biggest playmakers for the Commanders. But if they're back and they can help Mariota out, I think this is going to be much closer, and they're going to be able to move the ball to some degree on the Chiefs defense. That is, of course, still really good. And the Chiefs are now on a mission to try and rip through the NFL on their way back to glory after their rough start to the season. So I think it'll be a fun clash of 2 maybe playoff teams.
Yeah, this game here was my number 2. I'm putting it at number 3 now just because of the news of Jalen Daniels. If he was there, it might be number 1. But with the missing starting quarterback and his ability to extend plays, not that Mariota can't, and I don't want to put anything. I love Marcus Mariota, nothing against him. I think the Chiefs found something. Like, you know how you're dry, how do I want to put this? You're dry, if you're driving and you're going and you're off the left, you're off the right, you're hitting the rumble strips, and then all of a sudden you kind of find that groove in the road, and then it just keeps you going straight, almost like a train on tracks. I feel like the Chiefs for the few weeks have just been kind of, and for me, they're just good bouncing off and off, swerving, trying to find that right deal. And then last week they just found the groove, and now they're going to take off. I really do feel like it. It's going to be a tough train to derail are the Chiefs. They're playing some very, very good football, and to not be at full strength for Washington, that is even more difficult thing to overcome. So this is going to be a real challenge for Washington. I wish they were at full strength because I think it'd be a much better game. But I got number 3 Chiefs and Commanders as well. We'll see if we line up on 2 and 1.
Number 2.
I mean, I think we've definitely got the same games. It's just a matter of which is where. My number 2 is Cowboys Broncos. Did you have them at 1?
I had them at 1, yes.
Okay. So, Cowboys, I mean, the argument is obvious. They have maybe the best offense in football. They're the second best scoring team.
Pretty sure statistically they are the best offense in football, aren't they?
I think yards-wise, yes.
Yards-wise.
And so they got CeeDee Lamb back, and he had a good week back, and George Pickens was still able to play off him pretty well in that pass offense, and they pretty much rolled over the Commanders, even with Jaden Daniels in for a lot of that game before I think Mariota came in for relief for a little bit. But regardless, it hasn't just been the passing offense. I mean, Javonte Williams, the ex-Bronco in his revenge game.
Story. A great underrated storyline there.
Yeah, and I mean, he was all right, and he had his moments with the Broncos, but he was never really what he was cracked up to be after being so good at North Carolina in college. I mean, I don't know if you remember that backfield with him and Michael Carter. They were
that was a good one.
And Javonte Williams is finally running like that in the NFL, well over 5 yards a carry and almost 600 yards on the ground already. So they're just a lot of fun to watch. And then the Broncos, of course, they're coming off that ridiculous game against the Giants that they somehow won. And now they're still at the top of the AFC West. So they're hanging on for dear life for that spot. Well, the Chiefs are starting to surge, so they need every win they can get, and this might be one of them.
Yeah, this game, I have it as my number 1 game. I just think you have a great offense. The Cowboys, by the way, officially number 2 in points, first in total yards, second in passing, 13th in rushing. So they are a great offensive crew. They move the ball up and down the field. I love the quote that Brian Schottenheimer, their head coach, said to the media. He was telling the story about visiting with Dak about how we just got to get to the 50 because that's where Brandon Autry is in field goal range. He got the record for the most 60-yard field goals. So
he has a massive leg.
We just got to get to the 50. We're gonna score points. So I just think that's hilarious that they can do that. But they're going up against a Broncos defense, 4th in points allowed per game, yards per allowed per game, sitting at number 5. They're a really solid unit. The question is, can Dak and the offense do anything against a defense that is one of the worst, particularly in points allowed per game? I mean, Dallas is all about outscoring everybody, not really stopping anybody. I don't know. Can the Broncos offense show up for the first 3 quarters? Can we just see it for once? What would it look like if they played in the first 3 quarters? They always show up in the 4th. Got to show up in the first 3 quarters if you're the Broncos offense. Otherwise, I think it might be too much to overcome. We'll see. I don't know. It depends on what that defense does. Great game, though, and I do agree, an underrated storyline. Javonte Williams coming back where he had a great start, but really tailed off in his Denver career. Now, 6 touchdowns, almost 600 yards with the Cowboys in his first year there. So kind of having a resurgence with Dallas. So I look forward to seeing how that goes. All right, what is your number 1 game?
Number 1.
That would be the Vikings.
Ooh, interesting.
At the Chargers. That's not your number 2?
No, it's not.
Really?
Nope.
Wow, I thought that was like the only good one left, but I'll make my quick case because we're
up on time, and Johnny Grove is waiting for us.
Chargers 4-3 on the season. They've been kind of I guess you could say just when you throw everything together, average for the year. They've had their great moments, like when they beat the Chiefs in week 1, they got the Broncos in week 3. And it's like, oh my God, the Chargers are 3-0. It's pretty nice. But then you lose to the Giants and the Commanders, and you have a scare against the Dolphins, and you just get kicked to the curb by the Colts. And you're like, what are we doing? This feels like a lost season. Now you're tied for second in the division, and you lost your star rookie tailback, Omarion Hampton, for a little bit. So you're kind of spiraling. So now you get greeted by the Minnesota Vikings, who are similarly not in a great spot as a team with some expectations. They have a really good defense, but they struggled against the Eagles. Carson Wentz and company couldn't quite get it going on offense. And we'll see if it's him or J.J. McCarthy at this point, because he's week to week at this point. But I think that's going to be a close football game of two teams that are really just trying to keep their heads above water in the playoff picture.
My number one game, is it an undersight by me or an oversight by you? I don't even know if undersight's even a term, but the Packers at the Steelers, number one? Or no, sorry, it was my number 2 game, actually. It's my number 2. Packers at the Steelers. It doesn't intrigue you?
I think each of those teams are just not quite as good as they're supposed to be. And it's just
really,
it's going to underwhelm.
Interesting. I don't know. I was impressed by Aaron Rodgers in that game against the Bengals. I know the Bengals defense is bad.
2 picks.
But I tell you what, he also threw for a ton of yards in that game, and really, and heaved it down. The 40-year-old heaved it all the way down the field. In that Hail Mary that got broken up. But it's the storylines. It's the media storylines. Aaron Rodgers, the former Green Bay Packer, hosting his former team that he led to a Super Bowl, and his pupil, Jordan Love, who he taught, everything. He helped him bring him along. There's
now that you're explaining it,
there. That makes
the storylines are really good.
The storylines are great. Micah Parsons trying to rush Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wants this game so badly.
Oh, yeah.
He does. So he's going to play like real Aaron Rodgers football as best as he can. This game has got great storylines, and it's going to be a good one on Sunday Football. I think it's an oversight by you. It should definitely.
I think I could have put that one in the top 5.
Good. That is going to be a good one, I think. All right, we got to get to a break. That's the NFL Power 5 here on this Thursday. We'll take a timeout. We're going to be joined by John Grove, GoPowerCat.com. Look forward to visiting him for the first time. That's next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Thursday.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
At Harvest, every acre tells the truth. And if you waited to see this season, you might be watching your yields slip away. Next year, don't wait and see. Know with TrivaPro. As the hardest working, longest lasting corn fungicide, TrivaPro works overtime to beat back disease, boost plant health, and preserve yield. For more bushels in the bin when it matters most. In 2026, don't wait to know. Go TrivaPro. Call your retailer today. Always read and follow label instructions.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas with your morning market update. It is Thursday, October 23rd in the overnight session. East corn unchanged, 423, March up 0.5 cent, 436 1/4, May up 0.5 cent at 444, July up 1/4 at 450 1/4, and December 26 up 1/4 at 457. Soybeans on the November up 3 at 1037 3/4, Jan up 4 at 1054, March up 4 1/4, 1067 1/4. AC wheat on the December up 1 3/4 at 490 1/4, March up 1 1/4 at 508 1/2, May up 1 1/2 at 522. Chicago wheat unchanged, 503 3/4. Feeder cattle finished yesterday 355.07 1/2. Live cattle 239.05. Lean hogs 82.40. Crude oil futures up 266 a barrel at 61.16. Gold futures up 67.50 at 4,111.90. Silver up $1.09 at 48.56. U.S. dollar index up 12 points at 98.79. Dow futures down 73 at 46,709. S&P futures down 4 at 6,733. You need to move any cash green or want to talk about risk management, reach out to myself, Drew Ball, Tom Slither, or Tyler Gosh, 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hank or John Styles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
35 pounds of nitrogen and phosphorus, $50 an acre. Source and blueprint by Sound Agriculture. Half the cost, same yield potential. Growers are saving $25,000 on every 1,000 acres of corn. With Sound's ROI guarantee you can't lose. In today's markets, every input dollar matters. Don't just spend more, make your seed, chemical, and fertilizer dollars go further. Smoky Valley Ag delivers seed, chemical, agronomy, and same-day or next-day delivery. Call 785-645-8010. Smoky Valley Ag, your reliable source for growth.
Farmers and ranchers, are you looking to sell your equipment at auction for zero fees and zero commissions? Well, then you need to check out Hayden Outdoors' new online equipment auction platform. You can list your equipment in our monthly online auctions using our easy-to-use platform, and you don't pay any fees or commissions. Visit HaydenOutdoors.com to learn more. That's HaydenOutdoors.com.
It's the Morning Blitz.
We're having a great time, couple of laughs, everything's nice.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8 Mountain, 8 to 9 Central.
7:38 Mountain, 8:38 Central Time on a Thursday, 37 degrees on our way to a high of 64. Boy, did you hear that this Chauncey Billups thing is apparently his deal is tied to the Mafia? The Mafia? Oh my gosh. Charging an illegal poker operation tied to the Mafia is Portland coach Chauncey Billups. I'm pretty sure he's out of a job today. I'm pretty sure he'll be done.
If that ends up being true, he has to be.
Oh, there's too much smoke for there not to be any fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of fire, let's go to the Hoover Lumber the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. There's John Grove. He joins us now. John, good morning. How are you doing today, my friend?
Morning, fellows. It's been good. It's always a blast getting to hop on some radio shows, including this one here out in Western Kansas.
Well, thanks, John. We really appreciate it. Can we call you Johnny Grove? It just rolls off the tongue.
My tennis coach calls me Farmer Johnny Boy, so I got too many nicknames to count. A professor calls me JG John Grove. It's all over the place.
So,
man.
Okay, so we got to ask if you're Farmer Johnny Grove. Where are you from? Are you from a farming community? Where does the farming come from?
I wish. No, I was just really slow on the tennis court, so I was just running back and forth, way too slow. And I always used to have a lot of asthma attacks when I was little, so I had to kind of take several breathers here and there as well. But I get a lot of crap for it for sure.
Well, we're not going to give you any crap at your tennis because we haven't seen you play. So we're just going to imagine that you're better than us. That's what I'm going to say, John. You're better at tennis than I am for sure. John, you guys just got done going to Big 12 basketball media days. I tell you, there was a quote from Jerome Tang. He talked about 3 different guys being the best player in the country, the best athlete. What are your thoughts on Jerome Tang's confidence going into this season about his team, considering how things have gone for Kansas State the last couple of years?
I think we're looking at perhaps a sign of confidence, kind of some quiet confidence that maybe got a little bit overshot last year. And it's not really just based on the poor production that resulted afterwards. But, there's been a lot of high praise from this coaching staff, but I started to understand more of the terms that he was implying, kind of based on what he said throughout the past few years. He said that Tyler Perry 2 years back was the best shooter in the country. Same thing was going to apply with Coleman Hawkins and Doug McDaniel and stuff like that. He in some ways, he mentioned it this year as well, but it's kind of raising the standard. It's kind of setting the expectation for him to compete at the highest level. And I think Jerome Tang as well wants to make sure that he is coaching up to that level as well. He wants to make sure that Moby Kekaruka is the best athlete in the country, that Abdi Bashir is the best shooter in the country, that PJ Haggerty could be the best point guard overall. It's just setting the standard for what's to be expected for K-State. And I think even some of the guys, just knowing what we've seen throughout the offseason and several clips from their Shark Week where they're just getting pushed to the limit, it seems as though those three have been really the key guys as far as bringing in the most amount of impact and on and off on the court and in the locker room as well.
When you look at this team this year, John, where do you see them finishing in the Big 12?
Let me think. So you got a few preseason polls kind of picking K-State around 9th. I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic as far as the roster goes to put K-State around the 8th or 7th seed as well, and perhaps in the Big 12 standings as well. If you were to tell me right now, the Big 12 standings, well, especially with K-State's basketball schedule, you kind of look at what's to come early on in the slate. It's not the easiest start. You got to host BYU and AJ DeBensta, as well as travel to Arizona for your first two games of conference slate. But aside from that, I mean, it's a pretty easy stretch. Well, it's not an easy stretch playing in the Big 12 night in and night out, but it's not as if you got so many stacked games consecutively compared to what we've seen with Arizona. Like on Arizona's schedule, you got Houston, Kansas, Baylor, all of these teams consecutively. K-State has several of these teams kind of in and out, but you also got the teams that K-State should be able to beat in Arizona State and UCF and Oklahoma State and Utah for a spurt as well. So we'll see what happens, but I think when you're looking at the Big 12 conference from top to bottom, I think you're kind of looking at several tiers. I think simply put Houston, BYU, kind of on a top tier on its own. You got Texas Tech, Arizona, Iowa State kind of in tier 2. I'd put K-State pretty close to that tier 3 conversation, and maybe that's where I don't know, because I'm also looking at several of these teams as well. And KU with their new point guard and Darren Peterson, he's coming in as well, but we just haven't seen the results put up so far for Bill Self. So I'd probably say right now K-State's near the tier 3 point. If you were to ask me, just not quite yet, given them the last 2 years. I gotta believe it till I see it.
John Grove, our guest, GoPowerCat.com. Join us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. John, when talk about PJ Haggerty and him coming on this roster, every year it feels like if Jerome Tang has brought in one really big player, one big time player. I feel like last year you could either say it was Doug McDaniel or Coleman Hawkins, previous years to that. They always found one key guy. And to me, the biggest thing that's held the team back is the whole team gelling around that guy. How do you think K-State will gel as a team around Haggerty, particularly with his ball dominant style?
I think you gotta probably, as far as gelling together, I think this year we're looking at perhaps more gelling as far as a chemistry standpoint. What's been happening more so off the court, we'll see how things are able to mesh on the court. But a lot of what went down last year in regards to Coleman Hawkins and Doug McDaniel is that, with all due respect to those guys, they just weren't the right healthy mindsets that K-State needed at certain points. You look early on last season, and Doug McDaniel didn't get too many opportunities on the court to start the year. And on top of that, you have Coleman Hawkins, who was dealing with some health issues and just was kind of lagging up and down the court as well. You're kind of looking at a PJ Haggerty guy in which he's known what Jerome Tang is able to bring to the table. He's been recruiting him since the high school days back at Baylor, but just building that connection. But the coaches, it seems as if, and he put this out in Kansas City yesterday, but the coaches and players seem to be kind of gelling together as well. There's an intriguing quote about him making his own pizza at Jerome Tang's house at one point as well. But I think off the court, especially, the chemistry and the culture is really starting to stand out a whole lot more. And I think it's a lot of which has to do with getting rid of several of the other guys. But PJ Haggerty, man, I mean, you're wanting to talk about one of the most elite guys as well, and one of the more consistent guys. He's not going to be the kind of shooter in which he's going to be just chucking shots like we may see with an Abdi Bashir, but he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the motorboat, to say the very least, for his team as far as what we're going to see, just delivering more consistently on a night in, night out basis as well.
John, what do you hope to see in this first game against Missouri here on Friday in this exhibition? What do you hope to see, or what do you hope that outcome kind of is? Not that they have to win; it's an exhibition game, but what are you hoping to kind of see from that?
Any kind of offensive rotation set. And the reason why I say that very bluntly is because, frankly, we haven't seen that throughout the past few years as well. And now K-State has made several additional changes, not just to the roster, but even the coaching staff as well, where you bring in a guy like Matthew Driscoll from North Florida. He's been all around the offensive philosophy. Whether or not when is the best time to shoot a three or when it's not. He's been kind of figuring out the ins and outs on when K-State needs to take the right amount of shots. So I'll be intrigued to know a little bit more about that, but I can't say I really know too much. And I think this is also kind of applying more on the Missouri end because we don't necessarily have the tape yet as far as how both teams are going to do. And K-State especially, you got a whole lot of new guys that are just getting together as well. You got Moby Akekaruka back. You got David Castillo back. You also got C.J. Jones also returning, perhaps one of the bigger surprises out of a transfer portal as well, but decided to come back to K-State after things just didn't pan out there. But I can't really say too much. I'm just looking forward to seeing perhaps some more offensive rotation, perhaps as a sign of things to come. But I'm not entirely sure. I think this is going to be a good test for both teams. Missouri obviously I believe they made the NCAA tournament a year ago as well, so it should be a good test so far. Good test, even if it's an exhibition, it still should be a good matchup moving in on Friday for sure.
John Grove, GoPowerCat.com. Join us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. All right, let's transition to football. The Sunflower Showdown coming up here. It's 16 consecutive wins for K-State over KU. Is there any feeling, considering how this season has gone for Kansas State at this point, that streak might come to an end from the Kansas State perspective?
I think, if you were to tell me just a week or two ago, or maybe in a few weeks after K-State lost to Arizona and Tucson, I think the morale was just not there. The players weren't giving their all. But now we're seeing the last 2 or 3 weeks where not only are we seeing K-State kind of play back to the way they have as far as being a conference title contender goes, but even KU's kind of also regressing back to the mean a little bit too. They put up a lot of points early on in the season against Missouri and Cincinnati, and even though those resulted to be in losses, they were still putting up a lot of offensive numbers, but it just hasn't seemed to be the case throughout the last 2 weeks. And given Texas Tech, they are a Big 12 title contender as well. It's not easy to go into Lubbock at night and try to muster a few additional points as well. They kept things competitive in the first half, but I think this is certainly going to be a matchup that's pivotal for both programs, right? You're looking at two teams that'll try and not only vie for perhaps bowl eligibility. I looked at both teams' schedules before I got up on here, and it's safe to say if you come up short, you don't have too many easy games coming up except for Oklahoma State that can really help your postseason opportunity. So it's not only just that though, but it's also shaping the broader direction of each team's futures. If you see K-State as well, if you're able to supplement that or supplant that 17-year win streak, you also host them next year in Manhattan. Jalen Daniels will no longer be the quarterback. KU brings in a pretty good recruiting class, but it'll take a little bit of a while for them to gel together. So I think this is, for KU especially, the pressure is going to be on them. You're taking on one of the most underperforming Kansas State teams inside the new Velociraptor pit of a football stadium. And I think, it's very significant for them. It presents a perfect opportunity for Jalen Daniels for his win song for what will be his final appearance in the rivalry as well. But a win for K-State, and you're just thinking, if not win, are we going to see it for Kansas as well? But I think, to answer your question, we're starting to see both teams kind of regressing to their means as far as where the expectations are. I think K-State's feeling a little bit more confident after what we saw against TCU as well. They got to stop giving up several of these big plays, but I given what we've seen so far throughout the last few weeks of Kansas, I don't think that. And on top of that, as well, it's going to be rainy as well. I looked at the weather. for what's to expect this Saturday. I don't see a whole lot of passing yards being given up by this Wildcat defense against Jalen Daniels in Kansas this Saturday.
Well, you've talked about, after the Arizona game, K-State has kind of been on a little bit better trajectory, as you said, kind of getting back to where they thought they might be at this point in time. What do you think changed to allow that to happen?
What do I think changed? I think if you were to tell me right now, Ross, I think it's just getting the guys more rallied up. I think, to simply put it, you got the guys already in the locker room that have tried again to show some stuff on the field, but it hasn't necessarily panned out. But you got too much pride on the line. I think that's really the key difference here, is that you still got a lot of guys, especially some of the younger guys on this team, that have way too much on the pride on the line to see the season let go, to say the very least. And we're even seeing it from several of the younger guys as well, with Logan Bartley in the secondary. We're seeing Quay Moss step up in several of these games as well. The defense has certainly, it feels as if the defense has certainly made an impact far more quickly rather than the offense. And the offense is getting there. It's just kind of tooling the offense a little bit more. Cannot have any of these late game mistakes like we saw against Baylor. But the defense especially, they forced 3 turnovers already against TCU 2 weeks ago. They already shut down UCF's offense a little bit towards the second quarter and the third quarter as well. It seems as if Joe Klanderman has more so rallied his troops, and perhaps Kleiman has as well, given that he is a defensive coordinator. But I think personally, it's just that too many guys have a lot of pride on the line, and I think they have to, at some point, they had to rediscover what made the offense click. And I think the staff's attempt to turn Avery Johnson into a pure pocket passer hasn't fit his skill set. And he could throw when he's most dangerous, but with Dylan Edwards sideline, especially with this game coming up, his mobility essentially is becoming the key to unlocking this offense as well, and perhaps getting some more feet on the ground as well, with Joe Jackson and even Devon Rice, or even the backup quarterback Blake Barnett, the Colorado native too. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I going back to the KU game, you essentially at this point, all you got to play for is this game against Kansas. And if you are able to get it done, we'll see perhaps a little bit of a surge of momentum coming up against this Texas Tech squad next week in Manhattan. K-State has owned Texas Tech recently as of late, but lost to Kansas. And I think, mentally speaking, we're looking at a team that might be shutting down for the season.
He is John Grove of GoPowerCat.com. John, thank you so much for getting up with us. We really appreciate you spending some time, and we'll look forward to doing it again soon, all right?
Absolutely, man. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Thanks for letting it happen.
You betcha. John Grove, GoPowerCat.com. Join us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. We're out of time. I wanted to ask him about his thought on who the X factor would be, or what the X factor would be for Kansas State. And we'll have more on that, I think, in tomorrow's show when we get to the weekend slate. I got some thoughts on who that X factor could be for K-State. All right, we got to get to our final break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up with some thoughts on managers, baseball managers. There have been some interesting hires and some interesting storylines surrounding baseball managers over the last few days. We'll get to that next here in the Morning Blitz.
GMC in Goodland. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with 2.9% APR for 72 months. And if GMC's more your style, you're in luck. Drive home a 25 GMC Sierra Elevation with up to $7,000 in customer cash, or lock in 0.9% APR on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500. Whether it's power, performance, or pure style, Hurl Chevrolet GMC has the truck to match your drive. Visit hurlchev.com or stop by today in Goodland and make this truck month one to remember.
From trucks and trailers to parts and service, count on Wilkins Truck and Trailer, your full-service equipment partner. Shop quality used Peterbilts, Kenworths, trailers, and much more at wilkinstruck.com or call 785-899-5454 today.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures. making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
Thanks again to John Grove for joining the program. Really appreciate him spending some time with us, talking more about the Sunflower Showdown here on Saturday morning. We'll see if it's 17 straight for Kansas State or if KU snaps that streak. Boy, a lot of great storylines. Could be Jalen Daniels. It's Jalen Daniels' last time to get it done. Does he get it done? Gosh, great storylines surrounding that rivalry game on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to dive into this story talking about managers real quickly. We don't have a lot of time left in the program, but so there's been huge news in surrounding managerial stuff in college and MLB. So the biggest news of all is the news that Tennessee manager Tony Vitello is going to be the manager of the San Francisco Giants. Tony Vitello is a phenomenal story, a guy who was at Missouri and worked his way up the ranks, did a wonderful job at Missouri, taking them to heights that they have not even come close to ever since. Then took the Tennessee job and has turned that program from what was kind of a sleeper into now just a monster program with funds of unbelievable proportions and, of course, a College World Series national championship a couple of years ago. And he's becoming the first ever head college manager to make a leap to becoming a major league manager and making that leap. I don't know. I feel like this is going to work. Tony Vitello has had success everywhere he's gone, and I feel like he will be a great Major League Baseball manager. What are your thoughts when you saw that news? Because I'm not going to lie, it was pretty stunning for me.
It'll be interesting. My only question is, like, how often do you see, I feel like in baseball, from college baseball to professional baseball, you don't see nearly as many managers / coaches going from that level to that level that quickly. I mean, you hear about,
well, it's never happened. I mean, Pat Murphy was at Arizona State. He, went, then he was with the Brewers, and then he got promoted to be, and it worked out okay. But not like a direct jump, not like we've seen like in the preferred.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I haven't seen that jump like that.
So that's why I'm a little skeptical, and I don't know if it's gonna work immediately because he's got to get used to being in a major league clubhouse, which is way different than being with college kids. I mean, we see people like coaches across all sports not succeed in this because they think they can just push their guys around. And these are like 30-year-old men, not kids. And that's not to say you can push them around too, but that's a little.
You're more of a motivator in college, like, come on, guys, we got this, we can do this. Whereas
I feel like that works.
It's an undertone in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Now these guys have different motivations, so we'll see.
I mean, you have to admit, the college game has gotten a lot closer to the professional league thanks to paying players. I mean, it's gotten closer. True. So I know I'm fascinated to see how this all works out, even though I don't want the Giants to have any success because they're in the same league, same division as my Diamondbacks. So I would care. I hope they lose every game, but I'm interested to see what Tony Vitello does because I've always thought he was a phenomenal manager for the Volunteers. Also, by the way, I saw yesterday Kevin O'Sullivan, skipper for the Florida Gators, another guy who could have been a professional manager. He's taking off. He's taking a personal leave from the program for a while, which is interesting. Oh. Sully. Man.
Well, he had that little spat in the College World Series, right?
He's got
So I think he probably wants to just get out of the news for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. He was it's Kevin O'Sullivan just taking a personal. My guess is he'll be back in time for the season, but it is interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Did you see the deal that Kurt Suzuki got, new manager for the Angels?
1 year.
A 1 year deal?
Because I saw he was Perry, I think it's pronounced Minasian, the general manager for the Angels. He was tied to his hip basically because he was his personal assistant for 3 years, or his special assistant, whatever the position is called. So I think he's basically tying him to his contract almost. And Perry only has 1 year left, so that's what they're doing.
A 1 year deal for Kurt Suzuki. So
better
get it right, Kurt, or it's over, buddy.
That's not fair. Like, come on.
God, he was a guy. I remember when he caught for Cal State Fullerton in the College World Series. He was a good catcher for them. So, yeah, interesting deal there, nonetheless.
Good pro too.
We're up against the clock. Onto the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball deep to right. How
about a walk-off ready. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Colby Community College Volleyball sent their sophomores out on sophomore night with a sweep of Butler. They won convincingly 25-13, 25-20, 25-13. They're now 20-5 overall. Now a humongous match on Saturday as they go to Barton. That's the big one. Pretty much the league title is on the line on Saturday there just north of Great Bend. We mentioned it earlier in the program, but the NCAA has approved gambling for student athletes to bet on pro sports. Same thing for staff at NCAA institutions. What? Any more thoughts on what this means or what you thoughts on this? I just go back to my initial thought. It is a slippery slope.
Just ban gambling. Ban sports betting. It's too much. I mean, it goes so much bigger than this, but just thinking about like the Cavs were on ESPN last night, but just to wrap this up quickly, they play on FanDuel Sports Network for their local games. What are we doing? What is that? Like,
well, I think the Chiefs do this. I'm sorry, the Royals are on the same thing. I think they're on FanDuel Sports Network.
Lot of Midwest teams and
it's become a very, very slippery slope, and we're sliding down. And I'm telling you, this Chauncey Billups thing, this is going to happen at the collegiate level. You watch.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
Like, I don't know how they don't see it. I guess the money's too good. I don't know.
That's right. You're exactly right. Cash is king. Cash is king.
So sports betting will stay right where it is.
In the forefront. All right. That'll do it for us. Thanks to John Grove. Thanks to you for listening. For Connor, I'm Ross. We'll see you tomorrow here in the Blitz.
Classic rock plays here.